great sounds from the 60s right through to now. Sports medicine at New Leaf Natural Therapies, cricket players.
Anything. Netballers, kids. We're seeing so many kids with injuries as well. It's probably perhaps that combination of dodgy nutrition. Sorry, mums out there. But, kids just aren't eating as well as they were 30 years ago.
I live at Cooperoo, as you know, and not far from me, down the end of the street, there's a Macca's, and I can see the mums in their four-wheel drivers picking up little Johnny or Matthew, whatever, and the beeline, a queue of cars into McDonald's.
It is nuts, isn't it?
It's mad. And then they say, he's a bit overweight. And sometimes they're not overweight, they're obese.
Yes.
Because they're being fed rubbish. It's not the kids' fault.
Yeah.
You've developed a habit there where they want this sugar, and it gets out of control before you know they're diabetic. It
really does. And it's happening earlier and earlier. When I first started doing naturopathy 20-something years ago, people were in their 60s and 70s when they were getting diabetes. People were, but now, it's in their 16, it's in their teens 20s, and 20s. Yeah. And a lot more babies are being born with type 1 diabetes these days. So
which
it's
is
a real,
bad one, isn't it?
That's when the pancreas simply can't make insulin. So you sort of think, well, what's going on that we're creating women who are giving birth to children with an autoimmune disease from day one? It's pretty challenging.
Actually, I keep talking because I saw an article. There is an article in the Courier Mail about the funds being poured into cancers, which of course there are more and more of today. And I might see if I can find it while you're all having a chat. But diabetes, a horrible thing, and sports medicine, injuries, if you don't get them rectified, you can become lazy.
Yeah.
And the ramifications of that is obesity.
Absolutely.
Diabetes.
Heart disease, all the inflammatory things, cancers even, and I know that sounds like a weird leap, but inflammation is what causes all of the chronic disease that's getting us these days. Diabetes and dementia and Alzheimer's and, Parkinson's and multiple sclerosis. It's inflammation that drives all of them.
And a lot of it, most of it's treatable.
Yeah. There's also the whole thing about once people have had injuries, are they more likely to get addicted to the pain drugs as well? That addiction to painkillers is getting out of control these days.
Endone, which they term, and I think your brother would know the term, hillbilly heroin.
Oh, crazy.
And it is a great drug for pain relief, but certainly not long term.
Yeah, and the more our pain receptors get used to these drugs, the more drugs we need to get the same result. So when we are talking about people getting addicted to things, it's messing with the body's ability to heal as well. So there was a study that was released maybe 2 or 3 years ago now that looked at chronic pain over 20 years. So people had to have had pain for at least 20 years, and they found that the pain drugs stopped the healing process. So when we are doing things on a daily basis to cut down our pain, we're not healing, which of course makes sense. Absolutely. So one of my guys just recently, he's a big burly 40-something-year-old dude, spends 2 hours at the gym every day, has had chronic back pain since his 20s, and he had zero concept of the idea that he could be out of pain and that this was actually going to do anything for him, which was sort of interesting. And so, but once we started the neural organisational technique process, the NOT, the structural rebalancing, we found that, now this won't be a surprise, emotional stuff in his body was causing that curvature of the spine, which was making the spinal cord shorter, which was jamming his jaw, it was throwing his hips, so therefore the spine was just going to keep on compressing and being in pain. And when we first started out, it's probably been 6 months into the process perhaps now, but he was noticing that about 2.5 to 3 weeks after treatment, the pain was coming back. But he was actually getting pain relief for a couple of weeks. Now we're out to about 6 weeks. So kinesiology can be a bit like tuning a piano. And same with massage and acupuncture and other treatments. If you're on the right thing that's working for you, quite often body gets to a spot where you can just start stretching out those treatments. But if we're doing the same thing to ourselves every day, we're going to need treatments.
Well, I was going to say, down your neck of the woods, Edith Street, Wynnum,
yes,
you've got that pool, the Bay Pool.
Oh, the wading pool, it's fantastic.
It's probably full of little nippers at the moment, but fantastic.
But it's only up to people's knees, so if people are scared of water, you can even just walk up and down there every day or get in there and do breaststroke. It's deep enough for that. So it's nice and safe and easy, and there's lots of people down there.
And it's free.
And it's free. It's so fabulous. I love it.
It's a great neck of the woods. Yeah, New Leaf Natural Therapies, the number at Edith Street, Wynnum is...
3348 6098.
How's the new shingle?
Yeah, it's good. It's
Yeah,
good.
Great people do
Yeah.
talk about it.
Yeah.
I was down there the other day and they said, "You see the new shingle?" I said, "Yes, I did." All right, what else is happening down there at New Leaf?
So we are, actually, I'll throw out a bit of an ad. We're looking for a new remedial massage therapist, by the way. So if you know anyone, send them our way. But Rob does the...
You need experience, I can
different sort of experience we need. So Rob does the acupuncture and remedial massage as well. And he does this other thing called Chini Seng, the abdominal massage. So even thinking before about the shoulder pain, I know I've got a bit of a dodgy gallbladder. Probably because when I was a teenager, I, probably ate all the wrong things and,
Party girl.
partied a bit too much when I was in my teens. And so therefore I've been, I always have to just keep an eye on my liver because I'm aware it's one of my weaker organs.
Did you say gallbladder or liver?
Well, they work together.
Yep.
So I have probably had maybe 3 gallbladder attacks in the last 10 years.
What, stones possibly?
Well, I've never had scans or anything. I just know the symptoms. So I just avoid doing the things that cause me to have an attack.
Again, very common.
Yes. And the things that have caused it for me, one day, and they've been 3 different things actually. One day it was too much coffee and it was... Yeah, I had a big bowl of coffee over at Carindale one day.
I love my coffee.
So I had lots of time on my hands. I thought, I'll just sit here and sip away on it. Sure enough, 2 hours later, I was in a world of pain. Another day, it was an emotional stress, which was interesting, and that was probably the worst pain of the lot.
Just prior to coming and doing a shift with me.
Oh no, not Roger. And the third time, it was too much sugar. So it sort of has been different things each time. So if you think about the gallbladder releases bile, which is... It's about metabolizing fats, but too much sugar can turn into fat in the body as well. So I know when I get that sort of pain, I just need to... Anyway, Chini Seng, so the massage that Rob does, it's an hour's massage on the abdomen. So when people have got, say, ligament, tendon, hip issues, it's sort of from your abdomen, it's getting in there and massaging quite deeply into the psoas and iliacus and those sort of muscles. It's fantastic for lower back pain. It's great for infertility, so fertility issues, because it improves the blood, nerve, lymph supply into all of those major organs. But the scar tissue we build up when we're anxious tends to get in underneath the rib cage. So
stress.
Absolutely.
Being anxious can build up scar tissue.
Yeah, because your body's doing you a favour. So when you're anxious and you only breathe in that upper third of your lungs, your body's trying to do you a favour and make the diaphragm tighter. So it's doing you a favour by increasing congestion there, so it's easier for your lungs not to have to work properly.
It's like being lazy.
It really is. So that's why when people do yoga or Pilates and they start to learn to belly breathing is so powerful, because by doing that you're actually stretching. Once again, we're stretching our lungs. Deep breathing, we're stretching our lungs. So exercising, we're stretching our lungs.
That's the magic word. You've got to get out and exercise. Yeah. Doesn't matter what age you are, be it a short walk, just give yourself a bit of time after dinner especially. That's the important time.
Yes.
And go for that walk. Madonna, we've run out of time. We've got Ted Seymour coming along in a moment.
Fabulous.
Have you listened to Ted on a Sunday morning with
China? Absolutely.
Great program. If you're having a lazy Sunday with the air conditioner on, not going outside, it's going to be 35 degrees, tune into Bay FM Sunday morning. Ted Seymour, China, and the Hero Hour. And I think it was last Sunday they had Brian Curl on, which was fascinating. So it's great listening, great music. Well, Ted will be along after the 12.